Hello, I'm Nigel Kaplan from the University of Delaware English Language Institute. Reading is often a silent individual activity, but it doesn't have to be. One way students can show their understanding of a text is by performing it. This is called reader's theatre. Reader's theatre is a performance without acting. Students find ways to read the text aloud to make it interesting and meaningful. You don't need a stage, costumes, or props, just your bodies and voices. In this video, I'm going to show you how I prepare students for a reader's theatre performance. I'll discuss the benefits of this activity, and I suggest how you can use reader's theatre in your classes. Well, let's see how it works with a poem by the American writer Carl Sandburg.
The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on.
To make a reader's theatre performance of this poem, students need to read and fully understand the poem. The writer is describing how fog moves quietly like a cat across the water, pauses over the city, and then moves away. Haunches is an unusual word. It means the cat is sitting on its back legs, ready to move again. Since we want to show how quietly the fog moves, one student could say that first line really softly, and then the other students can say the second line, maybe emphasizing those t sounds that represent the cat's feet. Maybe on the third line, all the readers sit down and look to the left over the harbor and the right over the city. One reader can squat down and say very quietly on silent haunches, making those S sounds longer, as if to say, shh, be quiet. And for the last line, each reader can say, and then moves on as they turn their back to the audience or sit down again. You can see a complete reader's theatre performance of Fog in another video in this course. So why is reader's theatre a great language activity? Well, first, it requires a really deep understanding. Students need to know what every word means, and they need to attach an emotion or action to it. Reader's theatre also connects the written and spoken language, which makes both stronger. Students engage in a lot of interaction in English while they're preparing their performance. And finally, it's fun and motivating, and we know how important motivation is for language learning. I like to use a short poem like Fog to introduce reader's theatre, but you can turn any text into a reader's theatre performance. Children's stories, fairy tales, and picture books all work really well. Folk tales are another very good source and a great way to introduce students to stories from other cultures. I like using Native American and traditional African folk tales, for example. You can also use an extract from a play, movie, or TV show. Even textbook lessons can be turned into reader's theatre. You can also find reader's theatre scripts online and in books. Finally, here are some tips for directing a successful performance of reader's theatre. Decide whether to perform as a whole class or in small groups. Adapt the text for the number of readers and make it shorter if necessary. Decide whether each phrase or sentence will be read by one reader, a group of readers, or all the readers. In some classes, your students can do this step. Encourage your students to experiment with different ways of saying each line and different types of body language. Remember, your students shouldn't memorize the text. They should read it, but with lots of practice so they can read clearly and fluently. Invite other classes to watch the performance or video record it to watch together, or just perform for yourselves and enjoy the experience.